Good thing I'm talking to you.
A couple things, please. This is recorded. So careful what you say. All right, welcome everyone. I'm Dave Manzano Senior. I'm your 2025 GSAR President, along with our fantastic CEO, Virginia Tuttle. And our staff, wonderful staff, Danielle and Carmelo. Thank you for putting this on. I'd like to ask, if I may, for a moment of silence for a fellow agent that passed away a few days ago, Kathy Bellotti. So before we start, a moment of silence, please. We shut that door. Thank you. Okay, it's so important that you sign in now before we get going and sign out after the presentation, so you get credit for today's class. If you attend all 4 Raising the Bars or 3 Raising the Bars in Community Day, you'll be eligible to receive a 20% discount on your 2026 local GSAR dues. So please don't forget to do that. I'll be reminding you at the end too. Who knows what September is? I know. You better know. Realtor Safety Month, all right? Every month is Realtor Safety Month, but we focus September just so that we can draw attention to the needs of what we do and how we do our business. So I'd like to thank our sponsors for putting this on, our 3rd Raising the Bar, Empower Federal Credit Union, and M&T Bank. How about a round of applause? I'd also like to recognize and thank our 2025 package sponsors, our Platinum, Lang Law, Salve Bank, Empower Federal Credit Union, Northern Credit Union, and Community Bank. Our Gold, AmeriQ, Supreme Lending, M&T Bank, Tompkins Community Bank, Hinton, Howard, and Cattell, Fulton Savings Bank, Geddes Federal, Genesee Regional Bank, and Premium Mortgage, and our silver sponsors, Beginnings Credit Union, Cross Country Mortgage, the Law Office of Robert Carter, New York State Association of Realtors, Prime Lending, and Mancuso and Brightman PLLC. How about a nice round of applause? Okay, let's get into this. We're honored to welcome our 2 outstanding presenters for Raising the Bar #3 in recognition of Realtor Safety Month of September. Tim McCarthy, a retired officer with years of service and dedication to protecting our community, brings invaluable experience in safety awareness as well as personal protection strategies. And joining him is Cory Lawson, a skilled practitioner trained in jiu-jitsu, who will share practical techniques designed to build preparedness in real-world situations. Together, Tim and Cory will provide an empowering session to help stay safe while serving clients and our community. So with no further ado, how about a nice round of applause? Take it away, Tim.
Thank you, Dave. I don't think anyone will have any trouble hearing me. If you do, shout out. I'll just introduce myself a little bit. When I was 20 years old, I joined the Syracuse Police Department, and like any new recruit, I had to go to a police academy. And when you go through the academy, you come out and you think you know everything, and then within a month or so, you realize you don't know much at all. So, anyways, I went through the patrol division, as most people do, and it was fortunate for me at that time when I started. The chief of police then, Tom Sardino, instituted a program that took young patrol officers and rotated them into the criminal investigation division, where they would teach them how to take statements from people, do search warrants, which are very difficult, wiretaps, a multitude of things, just general investigations. And you learn from the detectives that were there for years and years. So fortunately for me, when I was in 2 years of patrol, and believe me, when you're in the patrol division in those cars, you're constantly going to trouble, to family place, mostly, where they were very dangerous. You see where police officers around the country get killed at family place. And it was like a retreat to get out of that patrol car and go to the criminal investigation, dress up in a suit, and we had to wear suits then, you had to wear a tie all the time, even if you're chasing people through the backyard. But it was a pleasure to meet. You didn't have that patrol car thing going to call after call, and believe me, they back up. It's unbelievable. And I'll tell you what it's like now as a patrol officer. In any event, I was there, learned quite a bit of things. And while I was in the patrol division, on the east side mostly, that's where I was, University, Westcott Street area, Meadowbrook Parkway. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. And there was burglaries all the time, so we investigated burglaries. But fortunately, my father was on the police department before me, and he told me, you're only as good as the information you have as a cop for information and informants. Just like our job, the more people you know, the more deals you get. So same with police. You have to have people telling you information. And who tells you most of the information? Criminals, usually. Prostitution. I had a lot of prostitutes who would give me information. Male people, couriers. Wealth of information. Why I'm telling you that is because when I was in CID on this monthly tour, there was a homicide on the east side of the city where I worked. A young kid was killed. And I fortunately got a call, young guy in CID. Everybody looked at us as kids, and the older detectives got this call, and it came in, and I had to meet one of my informants. And he said, I know who shot the kid, and I want to meet with you. And I didn't have a car. I went up to the sergeant on the desk, this is kind of funny, and said, Sergeant, I need a car. I got to go meet someone. Where do you think you're going? I mean, that's how they treated you when you're young. Where you're going? I said, well, I have to meet an informant. And I met this informant. Long story short, it solved this homicide case. And the chief of police came down, Tom Sardino. And if you don't know of him, I know Tom. He's a tough guy. He came in the CID. Every time there was a homicide, the chief of police in the city there. And he came up to me and said, hey, that was a nice job. How would you like to stay here another month? Hey, I'd love to. So the transfer order came down. My temporary transfer was extended for a month, another month. And I learned more things and did a lot more. I ended up doing a search warrant for some stolen property on the east side from a burglary. And the lieutenant in CID said, I'm going to try and keep you here. But I never thought it would happen. And lo and behold, the transfer order came out, and I was transferred permanently to the criminal investigation division at about 24 years old, which was kind of unusual. And I got the cold shoulder from a lot of the detectives that were there, but after a while, they warmed up to me. So while I was there in the criminal investigation, I remained there for 12 years till I was promoted. But so I was there for 12 years. And during that time, this is important in the background I have. I went to many schools, interviewing, and I'll just name a few. Interview and interrogation, a couple of them, eavesdropping notices, went to school with the FBI, how to take latent prints, develop them, read them, categorize them. I can do that now. The biggest one was, they call it Colonel F. Williams Homicide School, which was over a month long. And all these schools teach you how to read people, mostly. Suspects, what do? How do they do things? All the different laws, stop, question, and frisk, which we can talk about. You'll see a lot of people don't like that in New York City. I think the former mayor didn't want police. You remember that? They didn't want to stop, question, and frisk. Terrible thing not to do. I'll just talk about that for a second. when you're in a car out in the community and your job is just to watch people, after years, it takes a little bit, you can tell the difference in people. You really can, about criminals, how they operate, because you're with that element all the time. And just for example, when people are going to work in the morning, whether they're walking down the sidewalk to go to work or the bus, they're just walking along just like this. And you can see it, you try it yourself. Or you see somebody that's walking along like this down the street, and they're looking down driveways, they're looking, we start watching those people. That's what a lot of people don't want law enforcement to do. But it's called profiling. We profile people. And everyone in this room profiles. How many people do shopping? Go to the grocery store. You go up to the meat market and just grab the first steak, throw it in your cart? No. What are you doing? What do you do with it? We do the same thing with people. We look at them and you know from the years of cooking and looking at steaks, this one's nice marbled, this one's not, this one's too old. We do the same thing with people. And believe me, if you take your car and park it out of Wegmans parking lot, don't just sit there in the evening between Wegmans store and the liquor store and just stay right there at 7 o'clock at night for 2 hours and watch what you'll see. You're not gonna believe it. And we do that. I did it for 30-something years watching people. And you can tell people that are meeting, they're not going to the grocery store. I mean, we profile all the time. Another example I can give you, this is more drastic, but remember when our planes were being bombed, we're putting bombs on the plane. Who was doing it? Were there police officers bombing the planes? No. Were old ladies 80 years old? No. I said, they were searching people from Pakistan, all that Muslim type people, and all of a sudden we couldn't do that. You can't do it. You have to search everybody. So they developed a computer to stop people and search people rather than the actual suspects who were blowing up planes. So people like me, I had to go in the room, put my shoes off, my belt. Do I look like? And I told the guy, a cop, and he goes, "Hey, it's computer. We have to buy." So meanwhile, other people are going right by that are possibly suspects just because people in the community thought we can't do that. It targets people. Well, that's insane. If you have a kid that's 15 years old breaking into houses and you know it's a white kid, black, doesn't matter what they are. Why can't we say, here's the person that's doing this? Why would I stop an 80-year-old man? Why would I stop a 15-year-old kid with a backpack at 1 o'clock in the afternoon when he's supposed to be in school? It doesn't make sense. It's common sense, and we've got rid of common sense. But I just want, anybody have any questions about that? Stop question. So we see somebody that's walking on the street anywhere, and maybe he matches description of something. So we watch him, and he's not going anywhere. He meanders around. We follow on foot. We're following these people on foot. He's meandering around, looking down driveways, looking into cars, and we go up to the person. We're not handcuffing him. We're not holding him down. Hi, how you doing? I'm with the police because we're plain clothes and jeans. What are you doing? Man, I'm walking over to my buddy's house. Where are you coming from? And they'll say, well, I'm coming from over here. Where were you 5 minutes ago? And they start lying. But we know they weren't coming from over there. We've been following them for 45 minutes. And they start lying. So now, what's in your backpack? Oh, nothing. Oh, well, let me take a look at your backpack. And we open up, because what are they going to do? Say, no, people are dumb, for scared to death. What am I supposed to say? Oh, you can't look at it? Then he's going to know I got something in there. So generally, they'll like to look at the backpack and lo and behold, here's a little crowbar and a screwdriver. That's a pretty good thing of stop, question, and frisk. And some people in our country now don't want law enforcement to do that. And that's how we recover guns all the time. So moving forward. News headlines. How many people have heard this before? I mean, news headlines. We're going to get to more realtor things now. Disgruntled client shoots and kills realtor over a price of home. And during this, someone already came up to me and said, our offices, doors are wide open. And we have back doors and people, so remind me to talk about that. 3 Ohio real estate agents attacked and assaulted within a week. These are real headlines. Man sentenced to death for the murder of 2 agents. Real estate agent found fatally stabbed 27 times. Unsolved murder of real estate agent leaves detectives baffled. Major headlines. Realtor found in a foreclosed home. We'll talk about these homes now too. 71-year-old female realtor found murdered, beaten to death with a fireplace, poker and rod. By the Arkansas real estate agent Beverly Coward, and that's what brought about September being Realtor Safety Month at a shallow grave. She was tortured, burned, unbelievable. Real estate agents fear for safety after colleague abducted. 3 teams charged after realtor's body is found. Someone said that heard this presentation before, said, man, he's kind of scared us. I go, what, I mean, I said, what's the most important thing to you in your whole life? Family? Who said life? It is. We're talking about your life. That's why it's scary. That's why I want to, it's your life. You lose your life, whether it's a car, we're going to talk about cars and phones too. You lose your life, you're done. You can't do anything. You don't have to worry about the deal. I mean, you're gone. Family depends on you. So anyway, let me talk about this woman. I made this name up. This is one of the cases that I had. This woman worked in a bar right in Syracuse. Middle-aged woman. And a bar that was kind of, it's in the harbor area. In the inner harbor area. She's gonna work every day. Never had a problem. One particular evening, she talked to 2 gentlemen, 2 business guys that came in after work all the time and hung out there, talking with them for a while, and lo and behold, another patron comes in, happened to be a black gentleman. She never saw him before, didn't think anything of it. Why would she? And he ordered beer, hung around, and kept looking. She thought the guy was looking at her funny. She didn't know. She went down to the 2 guys and said, have you ever seen this guy before? He's looking at me funny. I said, no, this is a true story. You can look it up in the paper. In the paper, you can probably find it. She asked them to stay around for a while, just so that she would feel more comfortable. So something was telling her to do that. We're going to talk about this. Your gut instinct. You know what I'm talking about? How many people have had that before? I have. I'll tell you lots of police. I had that a lot of times. You're ever in a place before and you think, this isn't right. Well, this woman thought this isn't right, so she went and told someone. Unfortunately, they left, the gentleman left, and nothing happened. However, a couple days later, the same gentleman came back, and it was 11 o'clock at night. She was just starting to close up. She immediately was worried. He was saying different things to her that didn't make sense. She got scared. She was thinking about calling, didn't do anything. And she told the gentleman, I have to lock up and get going. And to leave, he didn't leave. She started locking the door and he grabs a hold of her. This is where it gets bad. Pulls her into a room, takes a cord from a lamp and ties her all up. I won't get too descriptive, but he repeatedly raped her in this room. And it didn't end there, and it was bad rape. It was oral sodomy and some other thing, anal sodomy. She had a car parked out in back. He knew the car was out in back. Brought her in the car, got her in the car. He drove, and unfortunately for her car, and we can talk about your cars too, her car, the passenger door would not open from the inside. Would from the outside, but something was wrong with the lock assembly. So she's locked in the car, drives to, I think it was Clark Cement Company, not far from this bar. and went in where there was some stone and they had these big concrete barriers where he raped her some more outside the car. She tried to run away. It's just a horrific story. Finally, he drives up on the north side, jumps out of the car and leaves her there. She's completely naked. And unfortunately, he gets away. He was caught, is in prison. But the thing I want to tell you most is all the times that I was a detective, whether it was a man, a woman, and things happen to you, hopefully it doesn't happen to you, people say, I knew something was wrong. All the time. Like 100% of the time. People get in positions where it was etching girls met a guy in a bar, or robbery people that are in the, I'll think of one, Brooklyn Pickle. Young girls in Brooklyn Pickle, about 11, 12 o'clock at night. Guy comes in and she knew something was wrong. He went, I don't know what I want. And then he pulls the knife out, cut her on the neck a little bit, but she knew something was wrong and didn't do anything. And that's what most people do, unfortunately, because you're not trained. But when you have that feeling, trust your gut, trust it, do something. If you're in a house, or I don't care where you're in a grocery store, you're in a bar, anywhere, if you're running in the park, and for God's sakes, the other day, I'm going through Green Lakes Park, 7 o'clock in the morning on a remote end, because I live near there. Here's a girl about 25 jogging. I mean, it's desolate with a muddy path, jogging all by herself. That was my wife or thought. I wouldn't say, what are you out of your mind? I mean, it's too bad we can't do things like that, but you have to be careful where you present yourself. And we're going to talk about that, not being a victim. So, there's monsters among us. Don't mean to scare you. They're all over. Look at the poor girl on the train. We'll use somebody recently. The girl gets off work, gets on the train, and now she's gone. Charlie Kirk. I mean, we can name, I can give you hundreds of them right here in Syracuse. I can't tell you the number of people that we prosecuted, and judges, they don't punish people like they probably should. You can check that for yourself, but there are thousands of criminals in Onondaga County alone just walking around amongst us. It's just fact. And are they going to rob a realtor or damage it? I don't know. But there's people, unfortunately, out there. So you have to prepare for that in case something ever happens. Here's another one. Everybody remember him? I just pulled up a couple of examples. Jarelski. And this guy, we interviewed him for 3 days on camera. He was very intelligent sometimes, and then all of a sudden he'd flip and start crying and saying all these things. But for 3 days, we had an FBI guy there for a forensic behavioral guy. They studied this guy. He was crazy, but I'll show you. We'll just run through him because I'm talking too much. Just show you a couple of slides of them. Here's what he did. Abducted, held captive, and sexually assaulted 5 victims. We interviewed some of these poor women, and I tell you, just imagine being and I went down in this dungeon. Yeah. Just the ant garden, you think about it in bad, you go in these older homes, it smells down the basement. When he has these people in this small area, all concrete, with a little tiny bath thing, and he abused them for one woman for a year. I mean, it was horrible, horrible. And he was going after a realtor. He went into, and we know this for a fact, he went into one real estate office asking, and I'm not going to name who the person is, we know everything, for a certain realtor, nice looking woman. Like all of us, we advertise ourselves, we put ourselves out there. He targeted this person, went to the office, thank God she wasn't there. He said, well, I'm going to wait. This Jamalski, he was a character. He was a charismatic guy. They said, have a seat right here. Just like in my office, we have a seat, have a seat. Maybe she'll come in. You have an appointment? No. So he's sitting there, and after about an hour, all of a sudden he just gets up and leaves. They offered him, want a drink or anything? And he leaves, and they notice about an hour later, what's that paper bag that he put down there? They go in the paper bag, guess what was in the paper bag? Here's John Jamelski. A knife, rope, and duct tape. What do you think he had on that? He wasn't gonna put it off around the house. But now, is everybody like that? No, I'm just trying to not scare anybody, but there's crazy people out there. He's pled guilty, he's in prison, I think he died now, 18 years of life in prison. Move on further. Characteristics of a criminal. Pretty basic, hide your identity, they're opportunists, they're manipulative, just like John Jamelski was. Lack of empathy. These people that do I can't tell you how many interrogation rooms when I've been in where people do just unbelievable things, even to their children. I was in the room once with a guy, he raped his 6-month-old daughter. I was in this room for 12 hours with this guy. And it's like, they just act like, I didn't do anything. What's the big deal? It's unfortunate, but we have people like that out there. Not a lot, but there's some. And a number of them carry weapons. So I made this up, triangle of vulnerability. It's like a fire. Remember when they told you what you need to make a fire? What? Oxygen, fuel, what else? Anybody? Yes, you gotta have some heat or something. So you don't want to make yourself as a victim. So don't give a person an opportunity. We can talk about that. Needs a victim, and of course you need an attacker. So the best thing to do is safety for yourselves, and we'll talk extensively about that. Try to make it known where you are to your family, to other agents, a lot of different things to do. We're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna skip this guy because he's too much. Safety first. Think of that all the time. How many people practice safety when they go to fitness? Everybody listening. Can I ask you what you do?
Is last night, that's what I do. I don't park the drive. Number two, I do not go out after dark. Those are somebody with me. Yeah, I'll go out, somebody else go, no, country. Common sense.
Common sense. It is. Unfortunately, here's the bad news about these attacks on realtors. Guess who's the victim? Mostly male or female? Female, unfortunately, way exceeds males, but there are males. So you want to try and do some things. Meet clients in a public place or an office. Obtain identification if you can. look, I went to Wegmans the other day for this party I went to, which I'll talk about. We had about 80 detectives from the city there. And I bought a small thing of beer. The kid asked me for ID. I didn't say, what do you want my ID for? People, we show our ID all the time. If you ask somebody in your office, if it's our office policy, if I get identification, look at their, take a picture of it. They're not gonna say no if somebody's trying to buy a house. They're gonna say, sure. They won't even question you. They won't. Just do it. Take a photo of your client or a vehicle if you can. If you don't know these people, you're meeting someone for the first time. Don't make yourself attracted to criminals. Don't be vulnerable. Don't put your plan, don't go down in the basement. And most of it's common sense. And you can't, unfortunately, trust a lot of people anymore. You just gotta be kind of suspicious. And if you feel that feeling like this guy, he's not asking any questions about the house, a lot of different things, you'll know when you feel that feeling, get out of there. Do something. Keep your cell phone charged and handy. This is just basic things, but check your cell coverage. How many, we just had someone, they were in, actually it's for a NISAR, I run the safety program for NISAR, Brittany Neatot from St. Lawrence County.
Yeah.
She goes to lots of places, there's no cell coverage, none. And we really rely on our cell coverage. So she takes extra precaution. She brings some with her from the office. They know where she is. So anything you can do, don't provide personal information. If you're showing a house and you're a woman and the guy starts asking you, geez, I like your blouse, you have nice boots on. If they start saying things like that, you should start thinking, this guy's not here to look at the house. Present yourself as a business professional, just like we try to do with police and law enforcement. They wear all these Stetsons and hats, try to present a command presence so people don't take advantage of it. John Jamelski looked for weak people. He told us that in the interview. I go out there and he's the one realtor he was talking about. Oh, she's lovely. I bet I could get her in my car easily. That's how we talked about these people. Keep your car well maintained, have a flashlight, a weapon, keep in shape. And I think, Cory, you're gonna talk about that?
Oh, yeah.
Cory will tell you about that. Heaven forbid that something happens or someone grabs you, try not place yourself where they can, because I would dare say I could probably overpower most of the women in here. They're not gonna come up to you and give you a tip. Oh, in about 10 seconds, I'm gonna grab you by the neck and throw you down. And believe me, I was a cop, I got thrown down, I was in the hospital a couple times, and I learned a lot quick, because once you get your butt kicked and something happens to you, you don't wanna have it happen to you again. So you try to maintain some distance from people. Cory's gonna talk about that, and heaven forbid if you do get grabbed, he's gonna show us some moves that hopefully you can get away from the person long enough to flee. Follow your instincts. You're in a house and you get that feeling, have a plan, And we always tell people, you're gonna show a house, try and get there early, look for a lot of reasons. Walk around the exterior. Is there a broken window in the back? Is the door open? Somebody could be in the house. And now with the colder weather coming, and as many as the homeless people, unfortunately, we have, they're seeking shelter. I showed a house last fall right on South Springs Road in Manlius, and there's a guy in the house. No one was in the house because the people were long gone, but here's the guy, he didn't present any problem, couldn't speak English, he just left. But you gotta check for those things. Follow, if you get that feeling that, uh-oh, I think something's wrong, don't go in. Here we go, talk about both. Those are great findings. You talk about hiding places. Tom Callis is, I tell you, you can't believe these people. Gone up, it's like 64 now. Melsky followed this real estate agent for a month, never knew anything. We knew because he told us. We're gonna talk about guns. Please trust yourselves. There goes Cory. I don't know if I want to. Okay. Some showings, set rules up front with the client, like I said, meet people, and now we have to. We've had these forms, you gotta, it's perfect, come to my office, or you. And if people say, well, why can't we do it here? Well, we have office policy, come to my office, or I have to be in a place of public that has cameras for safety purposes for you and I. And if somebody's got bad intentions, you think they wanna walk in the Dunkin' Donut where they got you on camera? No, these people don't like that. You have to trust me on that. These criminals don't want to be detected. Look at the film just recently of this guy in Utah. He's trying to hold his head down. He knows there's cameras there. They do not want to be identified. And if you start taking professional actions, they're gonna say, this woman's too smart for me. I'm gonna go to somebody that's naive and new, and they'll just show me anything I want in the middle of the woods with nobody around and no cell coverage. They think about that stuff. They're not totally crazy. They're smart enough to plan things, so. Bring somebody with you, show during daylight hours. I think most of you try to do these things already. Never drive the client. We don't do that much anymore. I can't remember when I drove somebody. Been doing it for 10 years, maybe one, but I haven't. Ride early, park in the street in front of the home, introduce yourself to neighbors, inspect and prepare residents. You know, you can do it, and I've said this before, maybe. When you're going to do an open house, and you know you're gonna be there for a couple of hours, and it's great for publicity for yourself. If there's next door neighbors close, go over and say, hi, I'm Tim McCarthy. I'm from whatever real estate company you are, and I'm gonna be showing your neighbor's house. You know them? Oh, yeah. Well, just in case something happens to me, I have my car parked up in the street, wherever you're gonna park it. And if you hear my emergency thing going on, that means I'm in trouble. Would you call 911? Oh, sure. And by the way, here's my card if you're ever interested in selling your house. I'm telling you, people would be more than happy to help you. And those car alarms. Well, let me see, my car's in the parking lot. See if we can hear it from here. It'll go off. I don't know if we can hear it. Hey, is that car? Oh, I hit the lock punch. Yeah, I can hear it from here. Two walls is going through. And if you're in the dark, the headlights are flashing and the taillights are flashing. Great thing. They don't want to be caught. They hear that. They may want to run out. There's all types of things you can do and do. We'll go through those. Know your way around the home and escape routes. Get there first. Open a door that you can flee, whether it's a back door, wherever, a window. Check the place. No, make sure nobody's in there. There's going to be people hiding in houses too now. They've already had it. Let the client leave. We went over that in the video. Keep a safe distance from the client if you can. If you notice somebody's trying to be close to you, there's a reason. They can't hurt you. You gotta see their hands. We teach police officers all the time. You see it in video. You can go on YouTube. Police shootings, look at it. You'll hear the cops say, show me your hand, show me your hands, because somebody's got their hand in their pocket. That's dangerous. And if you try to maintain the distance from someone and they're not letting you, trust your gut, there's something wrong, you know. Let's get this guy. Skip that one too. And that's the main thing. If you leave anything today from what we're telling you, trust yourself. And once you know there's something wrong, get away, do something. Do something to protect yourself, please. How many people, this is amazing. I was at one of the GSAR meetings and safety, and the trooper was doing something. And I think we had about 150, 200 agents in this room. And he asked me before, he said, I'm gonna ask people, how many people have pistol permits? What do you think? I go, I think it'd be a good idea. Let's see. I couldn't believe it. There was over, I think, a third of the people in this class that had safety permits, carry permits. I have one. How many people here have one? So next question is, how often do you practice? Where do you carry it? Here's the thing. If you're in a home and you get some wacko that wants to hurt you, and if your pistol is in a handbag or at a place where you can't get it right away. I mean, I was law enforcement. I had gun, handcuff, and everything, and I got grabbed, and I couldn't do anything. All I could do was try to save myself from getting killed from crazy people. Unless you're in that position and have somebody grab you, you can't imagine what it's like. It's scary, even if you're trained and you think you can overcome things, you got to be prepared. So if you do have one, shoot it, you know, and have it in a place where you can get it quickly. And if you trust your gut and you think something's wrong, you have to get ready for it. Hopefully you never have to use it. If you get a handgun, the way it is in New York State, and I'm happy. Everybody complains about the registering and the courses you have to go through. I think it's terrific they do that. I don't want any whack job like Jamelski to have a gun, or anybody else that's got psychological problems, or anybody that beats their wives up. Now you'll see the sheriff's department, if there's a family issue and somebody has guns, whether it's the wife or husband, they take their guns. I think that's terrific, especially in family problems. You're showing somebody that's prone to violence and hurt someone, they take their guns and then they can't get them back until they get the judge is okay. I think it's a great idea. But to have a gun now, it's a lot of responsibility. You just can't go down to Raylan's or John Sporting Goods, Bass Pro, get a gun and bring it home and leave it in your dresser or someplace. We've had Syracuse police officers, and he told me he could, I won't use the same, but he told me I could. We were carrying a dome, I'll tell you the story. And I was a supervisor up there, and I got an alert. I had to find one of the officers because there was a tragedy in the house. I didn't even know what it was. I was just told, get him. And well, his son brought the neighborhood kid over and said, when I see my father's gun, I know where he hides it. And he put it in his closet in a shoebox. And they got a chair and got the gun out and playing with the gun, pulled the trigger and killed the kid. So you can imagine what happened. I mean, lawsuits. I mean, not only just the emotional aspect that your kid killed somebody in your own house, but the lawsuit aspect. You have to keep those things secured in a lockbox. And other people say, well, I don't have kids. Well, you got any grandkids? Yeah, well, you only come over. Geez, imagine if you had your grandkids over and you had that gun out, and we're going to show you a different style of guns. Kids are attracted to guns. They're like, no, believe me. I did training for our city police, and I had guys come up to me, and I'm going to I was just with one yesterday, I told you, all these detectives were together. And he told me I could use the story, we did before, his name was Tim Irwin, he was a detective with me. He went to a party, like a lot of retirement parties, came home, drank a little bit too much, had his gun on the side of him, dropped his pants and he went to bed. He went to bed. And next morning, the little Jimmy is waking up, Daddy, wake up. Remember, if you told me I ever found the gun to tell you. And he was like still hungover, honestly, he was hungover. And he said, go back to bed, go back to bed. And kid kept persisting. So I'm gonna show you. So he got up. He doesn't even remember how he got home. It's a true story. It leads him into the bathroom, and all of a sudden he sees that his pants by the toilet and the holster is empty. He woke up real quick. The kid took this little revolver, because we had junk guns then. It was a revolver, only a 5-shot revolver, and it was in the bathtub, cocked. Oh, that's a true story. So when you have it, thank God nothing ever happened, but it does happen. You can see how many children get shot and people with guns. You've got to be very careful. You can't go out drinking and leave the gun in your car. Someone steals your car, they get that gun and kill somebody with it, you're responsible. They're holding you responsible. You'll get sued. They'll go right after you. So you have to be careful with those things. So concealed carry, you have to think about that. Revolver or pistol, complete different animals. Here's how a revolver works. We'll talk about it. That's what Tim Irwin had right there. Revolvers realistically are safer than automatics. You can see the cartridges in them if you look at it. They won't go off unless you really pull the trigger, and it's not really easy to pull the trigger. And you can unload it and see that it's unloaded. And there's usually very limited malfunctions with the revolver. If anything happens, when that hammer strikes the primer on the cartridge, it doesn't go off. All you have to do is pull to the next cartridge that rotates, and that will go off. Usually, there's very little things that can go wrong with a revolver. There's a lot of here's an automatic. A lot more movement in an automatic. Another thing with automatics, everybody thinks you just push a button. They call it a magazine. A lot of people refer to a clip, but it's actually a magazine. They unload the magazine and they forget about the one in the chamber. You can't see it. For a revolver, you open it up, you can see everything there. And a lot of these automatics, people think they unload it and put the magazine someplace else and they leave the gun. And somebody picks the gun up and just pulls the trigger and that one in the chamber goes off. Some weapons won't do that. Smith and Wesson won't. That's why the city has those in case of emergency. And I've been in them. You just push the magazine release and the weapon won't function. But a lot of them will. So you have to choose before, if you're going to think about purchasing a gun, talk to somebody that knows about weapons and decide for yourself which one would be best for me. The revolvers are very safe. They're a little bit harder to conceal. You can buy small automatics, but you got to be very careful. And if you get one, there's a heck of a lot of responsibility with them. A lot. So we're talking about safety. You can see this police, nothing happened to this police officer. I don't even know who she was. I just searched for one. You can see all the equipment that she has. And the amount of stuff that police officers have to protect themselves is unbelievable now. Guns. You can see she's got a taser, that yellow thing. Those things are I wish I had one when I was a cop. Those are great. I saw demonstrations with them. They're very effective. Some people say, oh, they won't get me, I'm too big. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable what they're like. They have pepper spray, gun, extendable batons, all kinds of things they have to protect themselves. And they're highly trained. I mean, you're trained in the police academy for a month on defensive tactics, use of force, what to do with people, how to control people, all types of things. And yet, as much trained as they are with all that equipment, bulletproof vests and everything, they get killed every year. 160 were killed last year. And these are trained people. So just because you might go out and get a carry permit doesn't mean that you're going to survive everything. Even the police are susceptible to people. So you have to prevent yourself from being a victim and try and take every mode that you can to prevent that and trust your gut. Don't put yourself in a bad position. Unfortunately, police officers have to all the time. So it's pretty good. Boom. Again, I had a feeling from day one. Look at them. Yes, it is. But that just goes to show you, she had a gun on, a taser, you don't have time. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And trust your gut and get out of there. NYPD guy, the narrator, not president. He's a big guy. This guy's burly. Go and I look at the realtor safeties, a lot of good things. Oh, it's terrific. This is why McCarthy. This is why we're here. Doesn't tell you here. Rate. Biggest thing. It really could be any one of us sometimes. You never know. Hopefully it never happens. But there's a possibility it could. So we want to take proactive measures every day with your work, going into these homes with clients that you don't know. Do something. And please trust yourself. If you feel, you can listen to these people, all of them. I knew something was wrong. The woman at the bar, every woman that I had that was either a victim of an attack or a sexual thing, even the students, they all said, I knew it was wrong. I just felt weird about this guy, but we don't do anything because we're trained, don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Well, really start hurting. You're not going to hurt these people's feelings, but if you have that command professional presence and say, no, this is the way we do things, they're going to get away from you. They're going to go look for somebody that's not. You have to believe that from me, because like I said, I know of the thousands of people I've interviewed myself from talking to other detectives. We talked about cases yesterday that we had and things that are going on now. And actually, I don't know if I should say this. I was gonna have cell phone things with driving, but I've taken some of Cory's time. An agent called me a few days ago, and I can't say too much about this, and said, can you come to my office and look at this? And there's some pictures of the vehicle. And I'll say it's in the town of Manlius, and it's in a home, pretty nice home, and somebody's watching it. And the people are gone and it's for sale. So we got a plate number, we know whose vehicle it is. The police do. I'm not, I was just the conduit. But as soon as I was told the story, what was going on, the number of times I go, something's wrong. So there's somebody else. You just have to, please believe me, in our county, Onondaga, there's thousands of crazy people. There are all over, just waiting for an invitation. Somebody slipped it, whether they want to take your money, take your car, jump in your car while you're putting gas in it. I don't know. They're out there. Just believe me. And if you feel that and you see something odd and people are doing something, get the heck away from them. Whatever you have, don't worry about it. If it's a real buyer and you're in a house and you go outside, you use your phone to call somebody, they're not going to leave. And if it gets to the point, just say, I'm sorry, I felt uncomfortable. And they're going to say, geez, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to make you feel like that. I'm just a touchy, huggy person. But the criminal is he's going to get out of it. So just please believe that. I have more things for you, but I will say this. National Safety Council, I did this morning. 26% of all crashes are caused by the use of cell phones. And if you are going, there's a lot of information here, but I can't get it enough. If you're going 55 miles an hour, this is all studies, you can go on and look at National Safety Council. It takes about 5 seconds to do a text message. In that period of time, how far you think you went down the road? Just look at your phone, you're going 55. Who drives 55? I mean, we're going 70 or 80. Looking at that phone, and I've done it, I'll admit it, I've done it. And I look down at that phone and say, be there shortly, and look up, you've gone 100 yards, a football field. These are all studies that they've been doing, all types of things. Realtors are on there too, look at it. Who has teenagers? Teenagers are 58% of the crashes they're texting. So I'm not gonna say any more about cell phones. We all use them. I almost hit a trash truck once. I mean, what are trash trucks? I wasn't thinking about doing everything. Trash trucks stop all the time. Well, it stopped and I looked up and there was the truck and I almost hit it. Why? Because I was looking at my phone. Please be careful. Get home alive and safely. It only takes a second to pull over and look. We're not that busy. When the time that I didn't even need to do it. It was my son sending me a picture. It was crazy, but please be careful. Trust your gut. That's the main message. Do something. Don't go in the homes. You get a funny feeling, get the heck out of there. Get out and make sure people know where you are. Thank you very much. Now we're gonna. Somebody grabs by the neck. Cory here is gonna tell us, how to save ourselves. And I'm telling you, I just wanna say this once again. I was a pretty strong guy. I was an athlete all my life. I got tossed around by some people who were 15 years old, and when somebody wants to grab you and get you down, it's hell to get away unless you know some things.
Thank
Sarah?
you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for that, and I want to thank you for your service.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. Oh, a round of applause. Yeah.
At the end, I'm gonna tell you about our pen. Great facility we have.
Wait, don't get up and leave. What's up, everybody? My name's Cory. For those who don't know me, I have been doing martial arts since 2009, which really started from a love of UFC. Who's here watching UFC? That's where it stemmed from. That's what got me into martial arts originally. I really started training Muay Thai, which is a Thailand sport where you're throwing elbows and knees and kicks and punches. And then I kind of like slowly gravitated towards Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. I am sorry, but no one told you this is going to be a little bit of a TED Talk to train Jiu-Jitsu. I think it has a lot of life-saving qualities, and it focuses a lot on self-defense. I included a quote from President Theodore Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt, a really big wrestler, loved wrestling, also loved Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. The art of Jiu-Jitsu is worth more in every way than all of our athletics combined, more than basketball, more than baseball. Because I think there's a different type of person who's attracted to martial arts, and somebody who wants to actively work on themselves. And it's really not so much a team sport. Yes, I do have a gym full of people that I'm surrounded by that I love and I care about, which kind of hits a little bit on the community part. But really it's a solo self-building endeavor. So what does martial arts and real estate have in common? Does anyone want to take a couple guesses? Real estate and martial arts, just martial arts in general.
Concentration.
Concentration, that's a good one, Nancy.
Just training.
Training, can we say discipline? What's that?
Unpredictable.
Unpredictable, that is really good. With that?
Discipline.
Discipline, yeah, that's a big one too. There's a lot of things that correlate from our real estate business into martial arts that I find myself really looking towards a lot. But here's like 4 really big ones. Here's the main ones. Number 1, patience and timing. Is that not what real estate is about? Patience and timing? Sometimes you need to time the market right for that client that needs to sell and buy a house at the right time. And sometimes I need patience to know that when I have a 250-pound guy on top of me, I need to wait until his weight starts to shift a little bit. That's when I can kind of use it to my advantage. Adaptability. Is this market not all about adapting to things? Holy cow, I feel like in the last just 2-3 years, every time we have something new we're trying to adapt to in our business. Overcoming challenges. Again, I'm 110 pounds soaking wet. And when I'm grappling with somebody who's 250 pounds on top of me, I'm trying to overcome that challenge. I'm trying to overcome how do I control the situation and kind of use it to my advantage, but also positional control. Positional control in real estate, right? If you're a buyer's agent, house has been sitting on the market for a few days and you're trying to get your first offer in, maybe you don't submit it with an escalation clause. You don't want to show the seller your whole hand, your whole deck of cards. Maybe we'll accept the offer as is, right? So controlling the position you're in is super key, but I did like discipline because we do need discipline in our jobs. I think that is super important. So what is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? This is really awesome martial art that is really focused on like grappling. Muay Thai is more like striking. And today I'm not going to show you guys how to hit each other in the head, or we're just going to show you a couple different techniques that will get you out of a really bad situation. Tim was talking about trusting your gut and also like being able to control the situation and not let somebody get inside the bubble. The cool thing about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is when it came over to America, it was Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. And what you're going to see in just a second, I'll show you kind of the lineage here. It was really heavily emphasized on self-defense. So with our classes at Taikai, the very first 5 minutes, the warm up is a self-defense technique. It could be someone giving you a bear hug around both arms. It could be someone's choking you. All of these different situations, and you have to overcome and react. Now that's the self-defense part. But if you guys have watched UFC, or even if you've watched a wrestling match, they're not doing that. If you have two high school wrestlers not going, grab my wrist, they're not doing that, right? That's kind of really more of what jujitsu is about, but the self-defense is also really important. So this is kind of I call it my Mount Rushmore of jujitsu. Carlos Gracie was actually the founder of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. He was the one that learned a lot of Japanese techniques and started implementing self-defense and a couple different other things into the program. Helio is the co-founder. So these two are brothers, Carlos and Helio. And Helio gets a lot of credit because he was the one that really emphasized the self-defense part. That was really important to him. Again, he's the dude who you can tell by the picture. Does this have a laser pointer?
No.
Boo. Okay. So this guy right here, again, 110 pounds soaking wet. He's a tiny guy. Then you have Hickson, who is known for being the most technical, being very good. But here's the thing: Hickson was really big. He was like a 200-pound guy. That guy was jacked. If he popped off his gi, he would have like pecs of steel. And then you have Hoist. So if you watched UFC, the very first UFC, Hoist Gracie fought on, they Hickson, Hoist, and you got there's two other brothers. They all did jujitsu. When UFC was coming about, it was all about who had the best martial arts. It was all these different styles, different body types, different people coming together with different style of martial arts to say who has the best technique. Who has the most effective martial art? And they actually all picked Hoist. All three brothers said, Hoist, you have to do the UFC. Anyone want to know why? Anyone guess why? He was the most technical and also the smallest out of all the brothers. So they picked the smallest brother because they wanted to have a big impact. They wanted to be like, look, this dude is able to beat up a 300-pound guy just by technique and position and using someone's body weight against them. It actually went out really well for him. So what's the goal of jujitsu? Jujitsu is really about controlling situations that maybe you don't have full control over, right? It's kind of like our real estate business. There's a lot of times when I'm grappling, I can't control someone taking my arm, but I can't control how far I extend and how far I frame to give them that frame. So what do? I adapt and I learn the next time I roll to make sure that doesn't happen. There's this concept of tapping. So like if I extend my arms out and then all of a sudden Dave Manzano hits me with an arm bar, I tap. I say, good job, man. We fist bump, we start over. What I love about that part of it is, yeah, I gave up, right? But he was gonna break my arm. You guys saw it. He was gonna snap it right in two. But tapping is like this, almost like a sign of respect and like a learning lesson. So it's like, all right, so Dave hit me in the arm bar. How do I go from here? How do I overcome and adapt into the situation? Does that not sound like real estate just a little bit? You have a deal that goes sideways, or maybe you have a client who's really demanding and needs extra attention, right? And you kind of change your business type a little bit on how to meet the needs of that client, right? Just some correlations a little bit. So why train jujitsu? I told you it was gonna be a TED Talk. Why you guys should train Brazilian jiu-jitsu? Everybody, we got a 70-year-old guy in our class who is a good Tim puts his hand up. 70 years old and he's still rolling and grappling. And you try to grab that guy, it feels like his shoulders are made out of like steel. It's crazy. But why train jujitsu? Here's three really, I think, the most important things. Number one, self-defense. It's kind of like self-defense is kind of like if you don't use it, you lose it. So like what I show you today, think about after class today or talk, whatever you want to call it. And remember to practice this stuff because the goal is to make this like second nature to you where you don't have to go, oh my God, he's choking me. What do I do? Okay, so Cory said we do this and we want it to be really reactive. Personal growth is also a big one. We do a lot of personal growth in our business, but that's kind of our business, right? That's kind of the model that we have is all about how can I personally get better in my business? You know, a vast majority of the population doesn't have that in their life. They have no personal growth. I love my best friend, Mike, very much, but he is cool with just chilling at home, playing Pokemon and working at the post office. He does the same thing every day. He does this all day. There's no personal growth. I love Mike, but that's him. And that's one of the qualities that actually drew him to jujitsu, was the fact that he had something that he could work on himself and work on himself. But also physical and mental. I think the physical is like kind of obvious because yeah, you roll around with a bunch of dudes for an hour and gals, you are obviously going to burn a lot of calories and you're going to get more flexible, maybe get a little bit more functional strength. But the mental part we don't talk about too much. Mentally, when you're going through hard times constantly in jujitsu, whether it's a bad position or you have to slow down and think about what you're doing, it really helps your mental logistics here a little bit. All right, so number one, self-defense in jujitsu. There's a couple of key concepts with jujitsu. So number one, leverage over strength. Remember, Hoist Gracie, leverage over strength. That's why they wanted, all the Gracies wanted that brother to be the first ultimate fighter. It was because he was tiny and very technical. Then the second, ground fighting proficiency. So what we're going to do today is we're not going to do a lot of ground stuff, but God forbid you're ever on the floor and someone's sitting on top of you, like high school bully about to fight you. There's a technique, there's a form, there's a strategy involved to getting that person down and flipping the situation. So that's a good chunk to it. Control and subdue with minimal harm. There is a video, if you guys want to watch funny, I almost put it in there, but there was a lot of swearing. There's an old UFC fighter, his name's Matt, no. Oh, now I forget the name. He's at a casino buffet, I'm not kidding, and some guy was getting really loud and was getting really physical with Matt. So what Matt did was he subdued the guy and literally sat on him while the guy's screaming, and he's using jujitsu to control the situation. Matt's not punching him. Matt's not choking him. He's not armbar. He's literally just sitting on him, controlling his wrist, controlling the situation with minimal harm to both people. We're gonna email like notes out after Regina. Is it cool if I include that video? It has some swearing because that guy was pretty pissed off. That was on bottom. But I think it's really good to see because you see like realistic jujitsu being done. That's not. That's right. That's right, Dave. Realistic training. So everything we talk about in jujitsu is realistic. This is not like, what do you do if someone does a flying dragon kick at you? No, we don't ever talk about that stuff. Although flying dragon kicks do sound pretty cool. And escape and avoidance. So like Tim was talking about escaping from bad situations, avoiding bad situations. And that's really what the self-defense in jujitsu is all about. Personal growth in jujitsu, we have a belt system where you start at white, you end at black, and you have this opportunity to work on yourself and learn a little bit more about who you are, making sure you don't just give up when situations get bad. The progress in jujitsu is really slow. It takes a long time. I got my black belt in December and I was training since 2009. I'm not going to do the math, but it's a long time for me to do jujitsu. And eventually, thank you, Artie. You're so sweet, applauding for me. That's very sweet of you. And so it takes a long time to get there. It's not something that happens overnight. That's just the style of the martial art, which I kind of appreciate because you really have to take that like extra level of commitment to jujitsu. But most importantly, the physical and mental fitness aspect of jujitsu. Show of hands, who hates running? Thank you. I also hate running. I cannot stand running. It's so boring. I can't do cardio. This, for me, is a way that I can still do my cardio and still feel in shape while working on functional strength. Guys, to be honest, I know it looks like it, but I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. I want functional strength in my jiu-jitsu, right? So I don't want to be this giant, massive person. I just want to be able to learn how to control body types a little bit more. And then we talked a little bit about the mental. I have been in positions, especially when I first started, when I wasn't even getting submitted, I was just in a bad position, like a large person on top of me, and I wanted to tap and give up from that position. But a lot of times with jujitsu, it helps with your concentration and almost a level of like self-belief, right? You kind of believe in yourself a little bit. Maybe I rolled with a black belt and I got tapped out like 20 times. I didn't die though, so that's cool, right? That's kind of been my mantra is like, when Regina asked if I wanted, or Virginia wanted me to do this today, I was like a little scared, but my mantra was, I'm not gonna die, right? Maybe I'll mispronounce her name, but I didn't die, right? I didn't die, it's okay. And I get to talk about something that I really love, so thanks for letting me do that. So let's talk statistics. So 56,000 realtors were victims of crime in 2023. It's the most recent report that I can find. It is a really small percentage of realtors as a whole, but I want you guys to think like 56,000. That's almost enough to fill the Bills Stadium in 1 year, right? I think the Bills Stadium, correct me if I'm wrong, Bills fans like 61, 62,000 seats. That's pretty close to filling the stadium, which is crazy. 23% of agents reported experiencing a situation that made them fear for their personal safety. That's 23, and that's only people who've reported. By a show of hands, who has felt uncomfortable and had like a really weird situation? Just raise your hands. All right, look around you right now. Keep your hands up. Everyone keep your hands up. Does that not look like more than a quarter of the room? We're just talking about stuff that's been reported. That's just been reported. I know I've had weird instances, and I'm a dude. Tend to say we're statistically more women are more apt to be in a worse position, and there was a lot of guys that raised their hand. A lot of things go unreported, but I want to show you guys a couple of things that kind of will help keep you safe. And then 42% of agents have taken a self-defense course. One more time, let me take one more poll. Hands up if you've taken a self-defense course ever. It's a little different number. So a lot of you have been in sketchy situations, but nope, maybe half of the people who've been in a sketchy situation have never taken a self-defense course. I think self-defense is kind of like the same as a CPR course. I think it's something that everyone needs to do at least once in their life. It's not something you have to do wholeheartedly and do constantly and make a commitment to doing it every year, but it's something you should at least know and practice. So we're actually going to change that 42% to 100% in the room today. So Dave, can I use you? Because you're sitting up front. I promise I'm not going to hurt you. I promise. Here, stand on up.
Cory, I want to say one thing about this size. Let me tell you, I was in a lot of fights. Watch out for guys his size. I'll tell you, it's true.
We're all wired. We're like a sport bro. Whoa, you see Dave. Holy cow.
All right, I'm not gonna die.
No, I'm not gonna die. So really easy self-defense things that could happen. Someone could walk up to you and immediately grab your wrist. I love that Tim said protect your bubble, because that should be prime. That should be number one. That video we saw of the lady that let that person into the open house and he pushed her in the bushes. Did you guys catch it? She was looking at her phone and then looked up and pushed her.
Yeah.
Right? Now, we know if we go into an open house and someone walks up and goes, "Can I see the garage?" Is that weird? That's weird, right? Why do we have to talk to them so close? I can get the job done this far away and still ask about the garage, right? Now, a couple of things that might happen. There's like 100 different situations, but there's a couple that are like the most common. In the grabbing the wrist and pulling someone is super common, right? Now, Dave's wearing a watch, so I'm gonna be a little bit nicer with the grip, but even if my grip is super, super tight, Dave can get out of this wrist grab. Now, Dave, what I want you to do is just like squat a little bit into position. So what he's doing is he's lowering his weight. Now stand up tall, nice and tall for me. So when I pull him, look how easy it is. Now sit down in position a little bit, kind of weigh it down like you're sitting on a chair. I'm this, that's real. All he's doing is he's lowering his center of gravity. That's it. Now, on a person's grip, the strongest part is where all four fingers are. Our natural reaction might be, Dave, just pull your hand back. Just, oh, I still got you. So we break the grip always by the thumb. That's the weakest part of someone's grip. So Dave, all I need you to do is kind of like, you're gonna make a circle with your hand and go towards my thumb. Like you're almost like wax on, wax off kind of. Yay. Yeah, let's do it over.
I don't.
It seems, no, I still think. You wear striking pants?
Those split.
It seems like crazy. That seems like bullshit, right? Doesn't that seem weird? It doesn't matter what side they grab. It doesn't matter which hand they grab. If I grab Dave's other hand, the process is the same. He goes the other way against the thumb. People are seeing it this way, but the thumb is this way. When he starts to pull back, he's working on all four of my fingers, the strongest part of my grip. Now, Dave, you're just gonna go the other way, kind of wax off now.
Oh.
Go this way towards the thumb.
Oh,
That's it. That buys you time just to get out.
It's
Guess what?
your natural instincts to go in.
Yes, so always think where the thumb is where the break is, right? So if Dave grabs my wrist, and if I immediately just try to go, no, Dave, I'm locked in. But if I can just go towards the thumb, I can at least break the grip and I can get out of position. That's if someone breaks your bubble, right? So, why don't we try that first? Everybody stand up, let's get the blood flowing. You guys have been sitting down for like an hour and a half. Grab the partner right next to you, grab the wrist. You right? All right, wait for a sec, hold on. If everybody get a chance to go at least once, have you tried both arms?
Yes.
You tried both arms? Okay, you guys want to see another one? Okay, all right, so we were talking about one hand. This is one wrist grab. Real good. Okay, let's go. That was good. That was great. All right, it's hard. I know everybody wants to fight each other. That was one wrist grab, right? Holy cow, Cory, what do they do if they grab you with two hands? I did the same. Go ahead, Dave. He grabs me with two hands. He's pulling me towards him. I need to lower my center of gravity like I just did. What was the rule of thumb?
Thumb.
I just made that. You hear that? Ironic. That's the rule of thumb. So, look, the break here is where the thumb is. That's the weakest part of the grip. Again, if I pull back on Dave, I'm going against all four of his fingers. Well, all 8 of his fingers. You get what I'm trying to say. But here I'm having a hard time. So look, I can take my hand. If I'm having a hard time and I can't pull through, I can take my hand in and pull and get out. And I made room. Now look, if Dave even just has like a loosey-goosey grip, I can do that without, and I can get out. But if Dave holds on super tight, and that person's super strong, I can't always do this. So this hand is gonna help. Look, I'm grabbing my pinky and I pull it towards myself. Now, when you guys practice this for just a minute, one thing that can happen if you're not careful, and I've done this plenty of times. When I go here, I go, ah! What are you doing? Go for your shoulder. Like you're throwing something over your shoulder. All right, you want to practice?
Yeah.
All right, let's stand up. 2 hands, grab. Oh, that's it. Guys, let's do it real quick. So Gina just said, Cory, why wouldn't I just boom, punch you in the face? Well, one, I'm not gonna show you how to punch each other in the face. Two, punching someone in the face doesn't get you out of danger immediately. And if they are a crazy mad person, you punch them in the face, you probably just piss them off, and you didn't get away. That's the key. The whole point of what we're doing is to diffuse the situation and see myself out of it and get out of dodge. So if Dave grabs both hands, I'm not gonna punch you, I promise. I'm not gonna punch him because then he still is holding on to my wrist. The other thing I get a lot is, why can I not hit him in the groin? Can I just hit him in the groin and walk away? That's gonna take a response time of at least 3 to 5 seconds before Dave feels anything. Then he's gonna be super pissed after 5 seconds. Then I'm really done for. So the move and the techniques are always, I need to get out of position and I need to make the situation neutral. Right? Now I have one more that we'll practice, but I want you to be careful with the shirt. So sometimes somebody might say, Dave, get over here. I want to punch you. Right? This is a scary position to be in. So if Dave grabs my collar with any hand, the idea is the same, that I want to break it on the thumb. So yes, I can punch him. Yes, I can knee him. But just grabbing like this, like a baseball bat, here, I'm going to use the same philosophy as going against the thumb. It's always the weakest part. If I pull down, not only do I rip my shirt, you guys see how jacked I am, but then I'm still in a bad position. So I have to go more this way, because you see how his thumb is this way? So when I do it, be kind to my shirt, Dave. Boom. It's this way. And what you'll notice is the grip just starts to let go. Even if Dave's holding on a little bit tighter, I'm dropping my base and going with the break. And I don't just hold it and go. Yeah. So the second someone grabs you, the second someone ever grabs your collar, jackets, business jacket, Tim's wearing a really nice jacket. That's a grip for someone to grab and control on. So the second Dave grabs it, I want to go immediately. When he goes to grab my collar, I'm immediately going to grab and break. And I'm getting out of position. I'm not hurting Dave. I'm not pissing him off even more to put myself in a bad position. But that's just something I want to show you. We still have a little bit of time. Let's take 2 minutes. Let's just practice that. Be careful with each other's shirts so no one gets their shirt. All right, guys, let's get back to our seats. So those are like probably the most common drinks. Real quick, guys, 15 more minutes, I'll have you guys out of here. So what we just showed you is like probably the most common situations you'll find yourself in. There are other things. Chokeholds, there's like suplexing someone, there's bear hugging them. All of these things we can spend all day talking about. But these like 3 that I just showed you are going to be the most common, that someone, when they break the bubble, that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to pull you. They're going to try to control the situation. Please, just remember, the goal here is not to hurt anybody. It's for me to get out of a bad situation. So when in doubt, 4 things, and Tim touched on this, which I love. I told Tim that kind of a vague idea of what I was gonna do. This literally touches base on everything that Tim was just talking about. Trust your gut is number 1. When someone comes into an open house and gets this close to you and goes, "Can I see the garage?" That is weird. That's weird. Weird behavior, right? Trust your gut. Sometimes maybe they don't even give you like an obvious sign of being weird. Maybe it's not so obvious, but something in your gut makes you feel kind of like unsettled, makes you feel kind of like uncomfortable. At all times, trust your gut. It's there for a reason. 2, protect your bubble. We talk a lot about this, especially in Muay Thai, because when I'm kickboxing, I need someone outside of my range. I don't want to be in their bubble. The second they crash in my bubble, that's when I can hit them with a cross hook, right? Now, how does that apply to real estate? Protecting your bubble. That video that Tim shared when she was on her phone and then looked up, 2-hand push. That guy got way too close into her bubble. And she wasn't paying attention too. She just looked up as he was pushing her into the bushes. No slight on her, but if you ever are going into a vacant property with someone off of an online lead source, please maintain distance. And what does distance look like? It's gonna be a little different for me, who's 5'4", and someone who's different for Tim, who's a little bit taller. Here's a good rule of thumb. If I can touch you on the head, that's where my bubble ends, right? Does that make sense? So this is where I know my bubble is too much. So the second someone gets in too close, I'm just gonna take a little step back. I've had it happen before at open houses where we've had close talkers. We're using that joke a lot, but close talking is really like that's a sign that something's strange, especially when I'm in a beautiful kitchen. Why are you right next to me, right?
Spread out.
The buddy system. If you are in your office and you don't have a friend or somebody with you, somebody that you can partner with that you know, hey, I'm going to 123 Banana Street at 12 o'clock today, right? Have somebody either go with you, or what I've done is I called my wife and put her in my pocket like this as I'm talking to the prospective customer. So this way I'm like, hey, can you just help me out real quick? Okay, I'm gonna keep you in my pocket. All right, let me go. So now she can hear everything that person's saying. She knows like if something gets like a little weird. My wife's my buddy. Other times, if I feel really uncomfortable, I'll take somebody from my office with me. Well, why are you bringing somebody? That's my colleague. We work on a team. I don't know. And if they're gonna give you pushback, that's somebody you really want to work with anyways. Right? You guys are all shaking your head now. No one wants to work with that person. And know where the exits are. The exits are like really big. There's a story of an agent who was at our office before who talked about going to meet a stranger in a house while they were already there. They were in the driveway. It was in a sketchy situation. The guy started asking really weird, off-putting questions. Luckily, she knew where the exits were. Exits doesn't just mean front door. Exits could mean the sliding glass door. Exits could be, I'm not kidding, a window that you could get out of that goes into a patio or something that you can get down easily. I'm not talking about a second story window. Don't go jumping out windows now. So what I want to do is I want to give you guys a really a great resource. This is free and available for all NAR members on the NAR website. This book is from 2016. So there's some things that are like a little dated, but a lot of the information that's in there is great. It's broken up into 7 sections: safety philosophy, identity protection, cybersecurity, personal safety, open house safety, safety, and your client's and best advice ever received. So these 7 sections, I mean, today, what did we mostly talk about? Personal safety. There's a whole nother hour we could talk about that involves cybersecurity, identity protection. Everything that we just went over was how we can keep ourselves safe. QR code working for everybody? Good. You guys can download that and have that as a PDF. If you want, you can also pull it up on the NAR website. It's a great little digital book that has a lot of stuff that'll get your brain thinking. And it's also not a heavy read. It's like 40 pages, and if you have a little ebook, you can download it and get it done in probably like an hour. And it'll change your business. It'll change the way that you do business positively. That's the one thing I want you guys to take away from today is look at your business and say, am I doing anything that's gonna keep me safe? Am I doing everything right? Do I have a plan in place in case stuff goes sideways? That's the one takeaway I want for you guys is to be a little reflective on our own business and say, am I really abiding by the most safe practices? Am I putting myself in danger? And I just want to say thank you guys for being here. I know time is not. We're just a few minutes early, but I want to just close out by saying I appreciate your time and energy. We're all very busy people. Time is a non-renewable resource, so the fact that you're here is really awesome. So thank you guys for your time, and I'll keep that up if anybody wants that QR code still.
Hey, were these guys great or what? A couple quick things. There's a sign in, sign out sheet. So if you're going for the credit, please make sure that you sign out to get the credit. And we're going to go into a little bit of a Q&A for the next 7 minutes.
One thing I want to say, because someone, before we started, came up to me. So I just want to, generally, in your real estate office, no matter where you are, people have free access to walk into your office through a front door and a back door. You better talk to the management and say, hey, we got to control this a little bit more because it's like open for problems when people can sneak up. We did it in my office. There's cameras all over. Somebody has to buzz somebody in. Even if a client comes in, they don't let, if the client isn't with the realtor, they don't go in. Well, I'm here to meet Tim McCarthy. Well, Tim's not here. I'm sorry, can't let you in. That's what we do. We have to take precautions out. Very unfortunate. We have to work and do business like that, but all businesses, my wife works at Hancock Estabrook. You can't even get in the elevator to go up. So we shouldn't be letting disgruntled people come in because unfortunately there's some sad people out there. And one thing I forgot to mention, for those of you that carry handguns, remember, like I am now, I'm a civilian. We, by law, have to retreat no matter what. So remember that if there is a way for you to retreat rather than shoot, you have to do that. And heaven forbid you shoot somebody and you have alcohol or marijuana or any, first thing law enforcement's going to do, take your handguns and they're going to take you to the hospital to get blood from you. And if you don't submit, they're going to get a court order to get your blood.
I have a first question.
Sure. Yes, sir.
Isn't there an insurance, I think NAR puts it out for handgun owners that they can get that looks at and takes care of either legal liabilities, issues like that?
I'm not sure, but I'll look it up.
Yeah.
But I would definitely, your homeowner's policy wouldn't be a bad idea to tell your agent, I have weapons in my house in case something happened.
Any questions for the two?
About anything.
We have a question?
I have a question and set three other additional tips. One is have a buyer consult because if you're willing to come to your office, you're probably not a psycho killer. Two is you're opening the lockbox. Say to them when you're opening the lockbox, this is sending a message to my office that says I was here and who I was with. Even though
Great idea.
that's not true, but who I was with. And then the third one is there's a program called Forewarn. It's a monthly subscription. You can just enter a phone number and you can see their from.
Oh, you're so lucky.
It saved, that has saved a lot of our agents from some relationships. Or at least to bring them back up.
Yeah, the forewarn is, it's a yearly thing, it's like $79, somebody's well worth it. I grew up on my age and all that. They're really not.
To also go off that, the app that we use for Supra, do you guys know there's an alert button?
Yeah.
Yep, there's also an alert button. The pain in the butt part is you can't like set that person up as your alert contact in the app. You actually have to go on like the physical MLS website to set it up. And it's all done through the Supra app. So there's just one button away. while you're unlocking a lockbox and something happens, there's an alert button that's right next to it.
iPhones too.
iPhones, yep.
Keep people away from you. Just like if I'm the realtor and I thought Cory was getting away, you can't do it like law enforcement. You say, sir, stand there, but you can say, sir, could you, I
I just
have
want
a
to talk about
slight,
the
I have a
garage.
slight phobia about people being near to me. What do you think is,
Yeah.
the real guy wanting the house is gonna say, oh, I'm very sorry, I didn't realize that. And he's there, but the guy that wants to grab a hold of you, he's not gonna feel sorry, and you should immediately, geez, I just told the guy to stay, and he still wants to be close to me, you gotta do something.
We have a question?
I was true that it's impossible for a female to get a concealed carry in
No.
Onondaga County.
No, I know a number of women that just recently got
Yeah.
pistol permit.
Virginia?
Yes, Virginia.
About what is the best practice if somebody comes from behind, like you're
Oh.
opening the lockbox or going into the bedroom? I mean, I know, I'm just.
Well, you kind of, that's what we wanna stay away from. That's difficult.
Especially when you're back, like that's a really hard situation.
It's tough.
Because I'm literally saying, hey, let's get us into this house. And
Yeah.
what am I doing? Like the same thing we told you to not.
Yeah.
to not do.
There's gonna be some times where it's gonna be impossible for you. You should,
Here's what I do. If I don't know somebody, I hit the little lockbox, I put my number in and I have a conversation. These things suck. They always take forever. They take so long. Or now my office is gonna know where I am.
Yeah.
Right? Like have that conversation instead of being like.
you can tell the person if you're scared, geez, careful what you say inside, because I believe they have camera surveillance in their house. They're gonna go, oh, I don't think I wanna see this house,
Yeah.
or they won't do anything. So they, just like that first, get them up. Here's another thing. I tell my daughter and my wife this. If you get attacked, I don't care if you're male or female, at least, even if the worst case scenario, you die, get the bastards being, scratch them, do something, pull some hair so we can find them. Because we can find anybody nowadays. I mean, I could talk for 3 days on what we can do to catch people. Like those guys that I was with yesterday, we knew this guy in Utah, he's done. I thought they'd even have him sooner, but last night was pretty good.
Virginia?
Well, I was just thinking, as you're saying, and I'm thinking back to what I did. You could get there early and unlock and have that switch.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.